Hi everyone, this is Claudia from Samsung Canada. In this video I'll show you how to quickly install, configure, and use the new Samsung Secuthru Lite version 2. Follow Me Secure Pull Printing Solution, which is part of our business core solutions that we launched in November. This is a serverless product, just as any component of the business core solution. So you have to install it through the web interface of the copier by logging in as the administrator. Once you do that, you navigate to the maintenance menu and then application management to install the application file, similar to firmware update. Then the file gets transferred to the device hard drive once you accept the license agreement, and the Java code starts running inside the machine without any additional resources, no server required or anything else. As with any XOA application, once you install an application, you have to log out from the web interface and log back in order to be able to configure it. So it takes a few seconds for the app to load and start running. Once it's done, we'll log out and log back in. So what this solution does, it's a serverless, like I said, secure pull printing solution, meaning that any jobs submitted to the MFP will stay there on the hard drive until securely released from the device using authentication. Authentication can be the built-in touchscreen authentication, or we can use an optional card reader with Secuthru Lite. And also, Secuthru Lite version 2 supports Follow Me Print, meaning that you can have up to 10 devices connected over the network and talking to each other so they can see jobs for the same authenticated user wherever the user decides to release. So let's log back in as admin and configure Secuthru Lite. Any XOA application, once installed, is going to be available through the XOA menu in the web interface. We'll just highlight Secuthru Lite here, and it's going to show us the menus. So there's three main menus: secure release job menu, where you can see the job list for the authenticated user. As the admin, you are able to see print jobs from any user. You have admin settings where you can set up a retention period, so jobs which are not collected within 24 hours, let's say, are going to be automatically purged from the hard drive. How do you want to release jobs? In secure mode, so the secure, mixed, and disable. Disable is like you don't have the application installed, and mixed will accept both secure and normal jobs. Smart release refers to whether the jobs are going to be printed automatically when you authenticate. So by default, that's enabled. I usually disable that because that gives you the opportunity to see the job list and decide what you want to print. And maybe there's some duplicate jobs that you can delete. Maximum number of jobs per user, it's 50 jobs per user that Secuthru can track. And you can customize the button on the front panel. Instead of Secuthru Lite, you can call it Follow Me Print, for example. And last item, there's a clone feature which allows you to duplicate all settings in Secuthru Lite application and save it in a file that you can export and import back into another copier. The second menu, the login menu, will show how the users are mapped. I have two card IDs mapped with Secuthru Lite on this specific MFP. They correspond to my domain account and a local account which is created in the copier. So Samsung is local, and this is my domain account. And the same card reader will read two types of cards, which I have here available. The login settings refer to how do you want to authenticate. You can authenticate, obviously, through cards if you have the proximity card reader, but you can also authenticate using PIN code or ID and password. In terms of the default login screen, by default, the Secuthru Lite will create its own custom card login screen, which is an animated GIF. I'm going to show it to you in a second. Passcode verification is essentially a dual authentication. You can have card swipe as well as a PIN code. So if you enable this, besides swiping your proximity card, you're going to have to type in a password. You can customize the image, the background image of the card login screen. I should show you how that looks. Let me show you how that looks. We'll just give it a second. So that's a default card login. As you see, it's an animated picture showing a user how to tap their proximity badge versus a card reader. You can change this logo. This is what this refers to, the background login image. And then initial screen after login, device default refers to the home screen, but you can go to the Secuthru Lite job menu, which shows the print jobs, or Secuthru Workflow 3, which is a Samsung document management solution, which supports the Secuthru authentication. So this is the login menu. In terms of peer devices, I was mentioning that this is a follow me print solution, meaning that any job submitted to any MFP, if that MFP is registered as a peer device in the device list here, like this one, 9301, which is on the same floor with the 9352 on which we're overviewing the web interface. That means that these copiers will share the same user account list, and any print job submitted to either of them is going to be available for release when the end user swipes their cards to either of them. So that's about it in terms of configuration. It's fairly simple. Now, with regards to operation, getting back to this login screen, there's a simple step-by-step self-card registration. So initially, when you install the application, if you're using a card reader, end users have to come in and press the card registration button and then register their cards basically to the solution. They will have to type in their login ID and password, as well as the proper domain. If it's a local user, they have to choose local. If not, if it's LDAP, like in this case, use the LDAP server IP. Type in a passcode. This is used for the dual authentication if you need to enable it at some point. And then when you hit OK, it's going to ask you to tap the proximity badge versus the card reader. And then the solution will store and remember the card ID for that badge and associate it with your user account. So this is how it works. Now, since this is a remote screen, I can't really tap a card versus a reader, so I'm just going to log in using the login and user ID and password. So I'll use my domain account, which is registered. And at this point, the solution will give me access to the front panel of the device. this is the Secuthru Lite icon, which we customized previously in terms of icon text from the default Secuthru Lite to follow me print. So you can customize the text as you want. And here, once you click it, it's going to show you whatever jobs are submitted by my user ID to the device, as well as to any other device that is registered as a peer device. So now I'm going to submit a print job from the print driver side. In the print driver side, you have to put in a user ID and password, similar to the device authentication that you saw. So I'll choose this driver and print the test page. The driver has a pop-up feature. So in case this computer would be used as a shared computer in a, let's say, real estate environment, for example, or any other environment that's using shared PCs, you have this pop-up feature of the driver that allows you to put a new ID every time. So the solution will track who printed, which account printed, right? So in this case, I'll just confirm my user account, and the job essentially went to the MFP. If I hit refresh, I'm going to see my test page here, and I can check how many pages and so forth. What's the remaining time? There's 23 hours, 59 minutes until it's going to be deleted automatically from the hard drive, and I can print it out. I have an option to keep the printed jobs. I can change the number of copies as well, right? And notice here the remote job. Remote job would refer to a job submitted under the same user ID but to a different machine. So let's say at this point I would like to use Notepad and you know, send a very short document, print a document to the other copier that's using Secuthru Lite, which is a 9301. And this one also has a pop-up driver. It's actually a universal driver that I'm using right now on both. And at this point, if I refresh, I'm going to see the Untitled Notepad document that I just created and printed, right? So notice here how I can toggle as an end user, as an authenticated user, between stored and remote jobs. So stored refers to jobs submitted to this device, specific device. Remote jobs refers to any other MFP that is registered as a peer MFP to this specific one, right? So I can release jobs from either source. One important thing to mention, whatever you see here in terms of features, they're all available in full. So Secuthru Lite is fully supported by the Samsung Mobile Print application, available for Apple, iOS, and Android platforms. In the Mobile Print application, once you choose a printer, in the advanced sections of the printer configuration, you have a Secuthru Lite tab that you can activate and put in your user ID there. So it's a very, very powerful solution, an integrated solution for both mobile and desktop users that offers secure follow me print with an optional card authentication or card reader, which is sold by third parties directly, and integrates perfectly with our Samsung Mobile Print solution. This concludes the presentation on Secuthru Lite. Thank you very much for viewing.